Do you believe that the 4-year degree right now is just a status symbol?
Colleges don't even believe in a 4-year degree anymore. It's just a business thing for them. And the reason why we could say that is because look at each college, whether we're talking the Ivy Leagues, the Harvard, the Princetons, or if we're talking the Georgia State, Georgia Tech, whatever. Colleges have boot camps now. They're creating boot camps on the side because
they're realizing the trend.
They see the writing on the wall. So what they're doing is colleges basically they're having both models now. They're like, okay, we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue this 4-year, this whole 4-year model. Because obviously there are some roles like no one wants a lawyer to represent them where the lawyer only did a 3-month lawyer boot camp.
Oh yeah, now you're like,
it's
okay,
like
and
no
same
one wants
with
a doctor.
Right.
Yeah, there are certain roles where you're gonna need like more tenure to it. But most roles in tech are things where you don't need to sit around for 4 years. Like
This conversation about building up your blueprint. It's time to take it cause time is wasted. Go grind and chase it, don't lose it. This generation need integration with information to move with. An inclination that is abiding in.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Respect My Blueprint podcast, where we highlight the successful blueprint of entrepreneurs across all industries. And today I have a very special guest, and we're going to talk about breaking into the tech industry, okay? And this individual here is going to share how you can make 6 figures into the tech industry. I want to welcome none other than Cyrus Harbin. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, man, doing good. Happy to be here.
Okay, good. And well, glad to have you here. Here, And, Cyrus, over the past 72 hours, I took a deep dive into you, man. Mm-hmm. As far as, watching your content, preparing for the show and everything like that, naturally, as a guest coming onto the show. And I've been enlightened.
Oh, yeah?
I've been enlightened. Seriously, I've been enlightened. So, this is going to be a very interesting conversation, not just for the audience, but for me as well, too.
That's dope.
So, first of all, I want you to go ahead and share with everybody. For those that don't know, Tech is the New Black, right? Which is the name of your podcast, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So if you could go ahead and first of all share, with everybody, what is Tech is the New Black?
Yeah, so Tech is the New Black is as you said, it's a podcast, a video podcast, and overall community and platform where we focus primarily on helping people, giving out entirely free game, where we help people break in tech, scale in tech, and give a lot of insights on how to either start a tech business or leverage technology or AI to enhance their business significantly to where they're able to save more money and make more money by leveraging artificial intelligence.
And this is primarily for black people, of course. Because
definitely. I would say for the black and brown community. I have a huge. So the way that I put it, I'm for everybody, but I have a proclivity for the black and brown community, just naturally by default. And so I love it. It's been really great. It's grown significantly. It's grown faster and even further than what myself and the rest of my team
Which,
ever
if I'm
imagined.
not mistaken, last September you started it.
We just launched at the end of September.
Right.
Our YouTube we're gauging that we're gonna hit the 100,000 subscriber mark on YouTube by next weekend.
Oh,
so
okay.
Really and we haven't ran any ads. We've done no paid advertisement, no paid marketing. We haven't asked anyone to shout us out. It's been entirely just organic, just from the community and people just really taking to what we're doing. And of course, me having a phenomenal team that does an awesome job with the content that we put out.
Right. Which, that also highlight and emphasizes the great, demand for the topic as well, too, because, tech is the new black, which, there's platforms like Black Twitter, Black LinkedIn and things like that. So we are now being more represented in the online and tech community.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and again, I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but I know a little bit about your background is, starting with the Lyft driver and everything like that. So just for the audience sake, go ahead and share with everybody a little bit about, who is Cyrus and the backstory of Cyrus.
Yeah, definitely. So I would say just going a little bit further than that. Initially, I would say like fresh out of high school, I went straight into the Marine Corps, served in the Marine Corps for some years. After my Marine Corps contract, I got pretty heavy into ministry. So I was at a lot of churches, a lot of conferences, colleges, speaking on whether it was like my relationship with God or just encouraging people in a relationship with God. And eventually I became a certified relationship counselor. Okay. I was doing that full time for a while, traveling traveling and speaking, but then you know what hit the fan.
Right. Okay.
Wasn't no traveling and speaking
Right,
going on.
pandemic.
Exactly. And so, but even before that hit, when that hit, it actually gave me an opportunity to look at my life, as it did all of us. I'm not unique in that.
But I just want to interrupt you. But before then, you had a pretty good lifestyle because, again, you armed forces, and then you're.
That's cap.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No. So you're I'm not calling you. I'm not saying cap on you. I'm saying what cap is, and I've talked to many, like anyone that's listening or that's watching, like please, like let us know in the comments, like give your insights. People know that when you're in the military. In the military, no one's making a lot of money unless like you've been in like you're high ranking.
For a while.
There's an illusion that people in the military have money, but the reality is that it's just their cost of living is incredibly low because they live on base or their housing is free. They could eat on base for free. So imagine if you're making, let's say $15 an hour, which is pretty common for people in the military. Like when you actually look at what many of them are making annually, if you're making $15 an hour, but you have no living expenses,
right,
and you can eat for free on base all the time, and maybe you even have a clothing allowance. If all of those expenses are taken care of,
you're good.
You could look like you have money. Right. And so even people that get a little bit of rank, let's say someone might be a sergeant or something around there, they're still not making a lot of money.
But you were traveling, and you dug into religion, and you were also teaching as well too. So although you may not have had but personal fulfillment, I'm pretty sure you was satisfied at that point.
Yeah, I definitely was. But one of the things, we have to confront, and I would say specifically as men, this applies to men and women. Nevertheless, I do put more emphasis on men because I do believe it is the calling of men to make sure that we are the providers. Women, of course, can provide. They could do those things as well, but it's our duty to make sure we own our ish. And so as a man, something happens to us as we get a little older, where life really hits us, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm happy doing the things I do, but it's like, yo, I'm not at a place as a man to really provide for a family. I'm not at a place as a man to have resources to give back to my community or provide some semblance of information that could really transform our community. And it's like we could pray all day. I'm for that. We can inspire. We can give food to the homeless. Man, come on.
Yeah,
like, let's be real.
Right.
And so the pandemic, as it did for many of us, it forced me to sit down and forced me to confront what I actually accomplished, what I was doing. And I was like, yo, I'm not making no money. I look like I'm popping because I'm at all these events,
right?
But I'm not really making any money for real. Right. And I'm getting older. I don't have, and I just realized, man, there's a lot that I'm lacking. So I found myself like, Lyft driving,
right?
And that was my main source of income
because everything
for a
was
good
closed
while.
at that point, right?
Yeah,
so.
And even when things started back to kind of open back up. I mean, I was in Georgia, red state, so they were a bit more friendly with allowing things to open up sooner.
Okay.
I just realized, like, man, people started hitting me up for some speaking engagements and offered me $500, maybe $1,000. I was looking at that like, man, this
not
just
enough. Yeah,
I can't go back to that, man. I can't go back to that.
Okay.
And so through a series of events and other people that I met that I realized all had a lot of money and they were all in tech, I started to notice a consistent thread where I was like, yo, most of the people that I know that have a lot of money,
they're in this field.
They're working in tech.
Right.
And so, so I ended up just wanting to pursue the tech industry. Now, did I know I was going to make as much money as I made? Did I know No, I had no idea. And that's what made me transition and say, yo, I need to put as many people on as possible because no one put me on. So I was like, yo, I, by the grace of God, have ended up in this industry.
So you're 100% self-taught and self-motivated in your journey.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say self-taught. I definitely would say self-motivated by far. But but money and working remote is a pretty good motivator. That's a pretty good motivator.
True.
And so I did. So first, I tried to get in the industry while I was Lyft driving. I tried to get in the industry by myself, just by applying to companies. I wasn't even getting interviews. I applied to probably about 500 companies, and I didn't even get one interview, nothing at all.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, this isn't working. So I was like, okay, I can either go to college or I found out about what's called tech boot camps. Now there are a variety of different tech boot camps, but essentially tech boot camps are, think of like a miniature, more compact, but more intense college curriculum where they're giving you all the information. So instead of you having all these other BS courses you have to go to,
Fluff.
Yeah, it's just this one thing. Some people consider it like, I guess, a modern day, a new modern version of like a trade school in a way, but it's virtual.
Okay.
You can do it from home.
Okay, which is a lot more appealing for people nowadays too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, and also it's not going to put you into any kind of debt. So of course, college, could be up to you trying to get a tech job, or you're going to college for some type of tech role. Not only is what you're learning in college going to be outdated because the information that colleges are getting, the tech industry is advancing faster than colleges could even imagine keeping up with it. So every curriculum, I mean, think about it, like at the end of 2021 or end of 2022,
right,
the whole tech industry, really Meta, was thinking, 2023 is going to be the year of the metaverse. AI. It's
that is true.
Yes.
Wow, because Meta was, because they switched from Facebook to Meta
They
and everything.
banked everything on the metaverse.
That's a good point.
That's
Okay.
why, like, a lot of people think that Meta, the company Meta, they think the company Meta like owns the metaverse. It actually was clever. It was clever branding and marketing by Mark Zuckerberg.
They just caught at the same time, pretty much. Metaverse and Meta.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Facebook created a parent company, because of course there's Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram that are all conglomerates of each other.
Right.
So they decided to create the parent company of all of them, which was Meta. But Mark Zuckerberg specifically chose the name Meta because he wanted people to associate the metaverse automatically with Meta and thinking that Meta had a monopoly on it when they really didn't. So it was clever what he was doing. He was wrong in thinking that the metaverse was the next big thing. And in reality,
he was premature.
Yeah, he was very. Now, I do believe the metaverse is going to be huge, but
Okay.
it's like it looked like a Sims video game in the meta. It looked really goofy.
Right.
So he really obsessed over it. A lot of his employees spoke out about it, where they're like, he's really obsessed with this. It was a big thing.
He banked a lot on that.
So
movement
Facebook
there.
lost
Yeah.
so much money
billions,
off of that. Yeah. So, but of course, so think of it, someone who's a top elite person like Mark Zuckerberg that had his finger on the pulse of the tech industry. If he was wrong in predicting what the next big thing was, which it ended up, of course, being AI, where we're in the AI boom right now.
Right.
And at some point, I definitely want to talk about that and talk about how this is one of the biggest resets we're about to see, and one of the biggest opportunities for people of color to build extreme wealth right now and not get left behind via AI. It's much more simple than all the other resets or booms we could have taken advantage of, whether we're talking real estate or.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely. There have been a lot, but AI is significantly more simple, and it's something that no matter your business, you can have a business that has nothing to do with tech. No matter your business, you can leverage AI to 10x your business. And depending on what AI products you need, it could be as cheap as like $10 a month, like something ridiculously affordable. And so. And I do believe that if people are not taking advantage, I do believe, this is straight up fact. Right. If people are not taking advantage of artificial intelligence in their business, even if you don't have a tech business, if you're not taking advantage of these different, very affordable tools, you are going to get lapped 10 times over. So the same way we're seeing our community start to step it up when it comes to business, start to step it up when it comes to like real estate, all of these things. If we miss this wave of what's happening right now, we are going to get lapped 10 times over. The same way we missed the wave of the tech boom that happened.
That's true.
And that's why Tech is the New Black is letting people know, hey y'all, this industry is for us. We need to get to it. Now AI, which is still tech, but it's another level of tech. And yeah, you're right, it's in its infancy. So this is a crazy opportunity to build wealth.
You know what? Wow. Because I did have a segment of our conversation I wanted to touch on AI as well too, But first of all, I want to go back to the original point where a point you made as far as how the universities are so far behind, right?
Yeah.
Which I want to fast forward a little bit. You end up becoming a boot camp grad.
Yeah.
Earning now you're six figures.
Yeah. So my first job, I did a boot camp. The one that I did at the time, it was 4 weeks. It's 6 weeks now, but it was 4 weeks at the time.
Just 4 weeks.
Only 4 weeks from home, and it was 2 hours a day, just 2 hours a day, 4 weeks.
That's really 20 hours, about almost 100 hours for the entire month.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was incredibly doable. The information was a lot of information, but it was a lot of information, but not complex information, not overly complex information.
Okay.
Specifically, because what I did was called a solutions engineer. It's also called sales engineer, solutions consultant. There's a bunch of names for it.
Okay.
But that's the course that I took. There's also tech sales. All of these are six-figure roles, and depending on your networking and what company you're at, you're gonna make $500,000. Not $500,000 plus within like 3 to 5 years.
Wow.
And so that's not abnormal in the tech industry. Like
What's
no
the
one's
benefits of stock options, health, and whatever that
I've
comes
interviewed
along.
several people on the Tech is the New Black podcast where they're millionaires just from their 9 to 5, clock in, clock out. They're millionaires. Not from some are millionaires because they've taken their tech bag and invested in things, but some are straight up like their gross salary that year exceeds $1 million. Just their clock in, clock out salary. Now, of course, though there are only a few, every role in tech isn't going to do
Right,
that.
of course, there's a highly expertise and skilled roles, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, but sales engineer, like the role that I chose, like had I chose to continue like as a solutions engineer or sales engineer, I could have gone that route and continue excelling to get to like that $1 million salary. Same thing with someone being an account executive, which is a tech sales role. So someone could be an account executive. But now also, right now going back to AI, you could be an AI prompter. And again, it's a brand new role.
That's a whole new role.
Brand
new
role.
Right. Of course, it's going to take away some industries and roles, but it's also going to
create
spawn
some
and seed some.
Yes.
Right. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Which, I want to touch into the education really quick because, number one, there's a battle, obviously, between formal education and untraditional education right now.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The 4-year degree, like you just mentioned, you even bypassed it because you said you wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I have no degree at all. Yeah. I went to college I tried to go for, not college, it was like one of those local community colleges. I went to it for about 1 week, and I just like dropped out. I was like, all right, I ain't gonna do this.
I'm a 6-time dropout. So listen,
Woo!
literally go there for 2 months because
6-time dropout,
man,
but still successful.
you know what I'm
What's
saying?
Up?
Come on, man.
What's up?
Because 9 times out of 10 we go because our parents force us, right? So I was the situation for me, right? But I feel like the new American dream is entrepreneurship. Period.
Oh yeah.
Right? So let me ask you, with your success in tech and also as being an entrepreneur, right, with your platform, do you believe that the 4-year degree right now is just a status symbol?
Colleges don't even believe in a 4-year degree anymore. It's just a business thing for them. And the reason why we could say that is because look at each college, whether we're talking the Ivy Leagues, the Harvard, the Princetons, or if we're talking the Georgia State, Georgia Tech, whatever, colleges have boot camps now. They're creating boot camps on the side. Because
they're realizing the trend.
They see the writing on the wall. So what they're doing is colleges basically they're having both models now. They're like, okay, we're gonna continue we're gonna continue this 4-year, this whole 4-year model. Because obviously there are some roles like no one wants a lawyer to represent them where the lawyer only did a 3-month lawyer boot camp.
Oh yeah, now you're like,
it's
okay,
like
and
no
same
one wants
with a doctor. Right.
Yeah, there are certain roles where you're gonna need like more tenure to it. But most roles in tech are things where you don't need to sit around for 4 years. Like most roles, especially if you're doing like something like a sales engineer or tech sales, those roles are something you can learn in like at the most maybe 2 or 3 months. So yeah, colleges, of course, they don't want to lose out on the money. They're like, let's have our boot camps on the side, and now of course their boot camps cost more than these newer ones that are coming out. And so nevertheless, even colleges, they see the writing on the wall. I mean, y'all look up the stats of how few people are going to college now versus before because of the
dramatic.
cost of college, because of
student loans.
Student loan outrageous because of college inflating the price, like inflating them, creating BS courses, and unfortunately, our community, the number one community that goes after those BS courses, and it's like I got this college degree in this field now where you're not gonna make any money. I got a master's in such and such, and it's like, what you thought you gonna make money from that? But of course, we don't know this.
We don't understand that, right?
Yeah, and that's why I've been screaming. Like once I got in the tech industry and I saw how booming and busting it was, I started screaming it from the hills. I completely revamped all my social media to say I'm done talking about anything else, and I'm just gonna 100% tell people to get in this industry, because once we know that there are few things like income that affects everything within our community. So meaning that when the income goes up in our community, crime goes down, divorce goes down,
okay, all the negative
mental
things
health, all of
right.
those things.
Okay,
there are
makes
very
sense.
few other things, and that's why I said, you know what, I'm gonna pull back. And I have a joke that I say all the time. This is a joke, but there's a sense of truth to it.
Right.
Like when I got in the industry, and not just the money, but the culture, like everything about the industry, it's otherworldly. Like when I explain to people what the tech industry is like, they think I'm selling a pipe dream, and that's why every single week I go live with someone who did a boot camp, and they just got in tech, and they're coming on saying, Cyrus, I've been following you. He is not lying. This industry is like otherworldly. And meaning like just the culture where you're treated, the benefits. And so the joke that I usually say is all the time is I'm like, oh, this is why white people are so happy and nice all the time. Because most of them are in this industry. And this is like, if you working remote, and you able to like go and walk your dog randomly in between meetings, and you get in
6 figures.
Yeah,
and
yeah. It's like, come on. Of course you're gonna be happy. What you got to be mad about?
that is true. And the crazy part about it, the writing is on the wall. I mean, we're in a digital era, and it's accelerating now, right? So obviously, you know, the baby boomers, you know, a large segment of the baby boomers got left behind when the digital era first popped off, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know some grandmas that's using flip phones, for God's sake.
Yeah,
Come on
exactly.
now.
Yeah.
You know, but you're right. AI is that new one.
Yes.
It's
And
the one.
we always wait until one thing that happens in our community, you know, our community, and also even the church typically does this, where it's this thing where we look at new things and we're like, oh, I ain't fooling with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, y'all crazy if y'all doing that. We always, or it don't take all that. We always wait. And so, but it's like, yo, there's no opportunity, because this is such a fresh opportunity where one, it's completely visible to everyone.
Right.
But two, it's so perfect because no one is a master of this stuff yet. Even the people that are making it. So to get in right now is even like, first off, even if someone, let's say someone who just wants a job, if you want to be an AI prompter, companies are paying out the gate $300,000 to AI prompters, and understand
This is basically, and by the way, when you say AI prompter, to make it basic terms, just to talk to the AI and come up with the responses.
To basically tell it what to do. So, you know, for instance, for example, even with my team with Tech is the New Black,
right?
AI runs about a quarter or a third of everything within our business, meaning that it runs a lot within our business. So all of my team, their schedule, because I have nine team members or employees, and 5 of them are full time. The 5 full time employees, I didn't make their schedule. AI did. I prompted the AI. Now, I'm not an AI prompter. I'm not that skilled with AI to get a $300,000. But I'm sure in like 2 weeks of studying, I could get a job like that if I wanted to. But I went to the AI, and with each of my employees. So for one of my employees, I said, hey, I have this employee. And I typed it in. I said, hey, I have this employee. Right. This is her title. I said, this is her role. I said, these are her duties. I said, I need her to do this. I need her to do this. She does this. She does that. She does this. She does that. Now, this is literally, I just hired her on. Right. And she was waiting for me to give her schedule. So I just told the AI all of the tasks I want her to do. And then after that, I said, can you please create a schedule from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for this person? I said, I need you to include a schedule that has a proper flow with these tasks, the best flow for these tasks, as well as any other tasks or duties that I haven't thought of that they'll need to do to make this more efficient.
Damn.
The AI, and I mean, spit it out in 10 seconds, a perfect schedule with breaks involved, and it included things that I didn't even think of.
About, right.
I was like, yo, she is gonna need to do that. It did all that, because again, AI, it's an assistant. So imagine you hire an assistant, but instead of you paying that assistant $40,000 a year, you're paying the AI $20 a month, if that. Right. And you could go to that assistant and say, hey, make a schedule for this person. Hey, also, I need you to write a script for X, Y, and Z. Oh, write a pitch for this person. Hey, we have to reach out to this guy tomorrow. Do X, Y.
It'll do things faster than any human being can do.
Oh, it's impossible. I was hosting at a tech conference recently, and Render ATL, shouts out to Render. I was hosting there, and in between like hosting, I was like, okay, I had Bard, which is Google's version of ChatGPT. So, because ChatGPT, they're owned by a company called OpenAI. Microsoft's their biggest investor. So,
And
essentially,
that's the more popular one everybody knows.
yeah,
about.
ChatGPT is the one that like made the boom happen, where everybody was like, "What?" So now everyone's scrambling. Right, every company has, no matter what tech, everyone is stopped, and they're like, "We got to do AI right now," because they all see what's happening, the writing on the wall.
Right,
so tech companies, the same way colleges are like, "Hold up, tech." Even the biggest tech companies are scared. Google owned a 94% market share on search. No one would go to Bing, like 6% of people maybe.
You got a good point.
Google owned 96% market share. When Microsoft saw OpenAI's ChatGPT hit the market and go viral, Microsoft owns roughly about they own 70% investment stake, like in ChatGPT. So 70% of ChatGPT's money is from Microsoft. So essentially, Microsoft owns ChatGPT essentially,
right.
And they've integrated ChatGPT within Bing. The Google search is, I would give it. Of course, they're updating it with AI as well, but just the basic search by itself, I would have given it probably about another year before it would have been like, nobody would have really been worried about Google. And Google saw that. So they got scared and they've been scrambling. Every tech company has been scrambling. They're like, stop everything. AI. So that's why I say if these multi-billion-dollar tech companies are saying stop everything, we have to do AI now. Mercedes-Benz, they just implemented ChatGPT moving forward within their vehicle. Now, I haven't done a deep dive into what all they're doing with that.
Okay.
But
just to show where the advancement is going to.
Every company in the world, and that's why I'm saying to everyone listening to our community, like, yo, whatever you are doing, you will play yourself if you don't use this AI. Like it made the schedule for my team, my video editor, whenever we shoot the podcast.
Right.
Whenever we shoot the podcast, we have one AI tool that listens to it listens to the audio, and it listens to it in like 1 second. It listens to the entire audio of the podcast. First, that audio, that AI tool transcribes the podcast.
Right.
We take that transcription, we plug it into another AI tool. I'm not gonna shout them out because ain't nobody paying me for no brand. You know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna say them just so people know this. So we use vidIQ and Jasper. Those are two different ones we use, and there's another one that we use to do the transcription. I can't think of the name of it right now, but we take the transcription, we plug it in another AI tool, and we say, hey, give me a title based off this entire transcription, a perfect title that summarizes this entire 45-minute conversation.
Right.
Give a perfect title, but make sure the title also is in a way that it'll rank high on YouTube, because the AI knows that. Because they could just give you a title, but you have to say, hey, this is for YouTube. We need to rank high.
Right.
So it'll be like, okay, let's word it this way.
So the intention is like, here, boom.
Yes. So we'll say, give us a title, and then we'll say, also, apart from the title, give us a description. Give us a 1-paragraph description of the whole conversation. And it's for this specific community or this specific type of people. It does that in 5 seconds. And then for all of our clips, we tell it to do the same thing. Gives a title for each clip, gives a description, all of that.
That would take a group of humans probably 3, 4, 5 days, however. So
yeah.
You've plugged into a handful of AI tools and we're able to execute within an hour or a couple of hours.
Less than that. I would say, and the slowest part is still the human element. The fact that a human still has to go to the AI tool, has to upload the video for the audio, but collectively all of that is done, even with the human element slowing it down, in roughly 30 minutes.
My God.
So all of that. I mean, that's for
There's
all.
no competition there.
There's nothing like
goodness.
that. There's nothing like that at all. So that is the job. That is the job of a person. Like, someone could do that. That could be like half of their job. And now AI is able to do that. Now, of course, I know some people are like, oh, I don't like that. So you have to think about it. If you're a small business owner, right, you don't have the revenue to compete with like a lot of these larger companies that just have money to throw around. Right. So you need to use the best tools that are more efficient, but at a much better price.
You on scale with them in a way, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But now I want to challenge here. I want to be the devil's advocate, because even Elon Musk came out and challenged and say, yes, AI is a phenomenal tool and it's going to be a phenomenal revolution, but there are risks that we need to be aware of.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right? So, and which, first of all, I want your thoughts on that, but also, you know, there's also risk in technology a lot of us may not be aware. Like, you know, discrimination where it comes to like hiring and law enforcement and crediting and things like that, because there could be there's studies out there how there's discrimination where it comes to that.
Yeah,
right?
there's AI bias.
Right.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
So with that being said, how can AI solve some of these issues? And is there really an inherent risk with AI?
Yeah, significantly. So yeah, to your point, yeah, Elon Musk, he was speaking out for years against the advancements of robotics and the advancements of AI. He's been known on record to be against it. When ChatGPT blew up and everything hit the fan, he came out and said, we just opened Pandora's box. He's like, there's nothing you could do. There's no stopping it. So people can say, oh, I don't like it. It's like,
so there's no reverse button here.
Oh, there's no reverse button because, again, OpenAI, it's an open source tool. Any engineer in the world can take the AI and they can build out their own AI tool there's no stopping it. And OpenAI isn't the only one, by the way. There's other companies as well that are doing it. So there's no reverse button. This is what it is now. So the founder, the CEO of OpenAI, which of course owns ChatGPT, Sam Altman. I've listened to a plethora of interviews from him. Probably every other day I'm listening to a new interview from him talking about it. And he even addresses it. Like, you would think a CEO would say, oh, there's nothing wrong. No, he says very openly. He says, oh, no, this could destroy everything. Like, this really could destroy everything.
Here, yeah.
So he speaks heavily about how So there are whole teams within like the larger AI companies where they have whole departments dedicated towards
security and
constantly thinking through how can we make sure no one can take this AI and make it do something nefarious. Because, yeah, Pandora's box is open. They all realize this. So even Elon Musk has said, okay, it's open now. Now we all it's all of our job and all of our duty now to try to safeguard this as much as possible. Because, yeah, even software by itself, it's already been proven that software has a bias based on who built out the software. They've done multiple studies on it. And so AI, they were realizing AI had the same issue. So now they're working, the most recent report, I'm not sure how accurate this is, right, but the most recent report that came out, and Sam Altman quoted this as well, is that AI is now ranked as being less biased than even human beings are now. So AI basically having less of a racist, sexist, cultural like type of bend to it now, right, and they're still working on making it better. So that is still like a goal of something they're working on. It'll never be perfect because it's made by imperfect people.
Right. Plus AI, technically what it just reads the data that's being curated and circulated through the internet, right? So whatever's put out in this internet, that's what the AI based its I guess responses and its intelligence off
that
of, right?
And whoever's creating can make parameters around it, because we know the internet is a cesspool. So
that's where I was getting at.
Yeah, it's a cesspool. So there's a lot of accurate information, a lot of inaccurate information. So it is the job of the prompter, the engineer. It is their job to create certain parameters and to do what's called AI parenting, where you're like a parent. Because AI right now, it's around 7 to 9 years old. And when I say years, I'm not speaking in terms of it being out for 7 to 9 years. I'm speaking in terms of like dog years, how a dog gets like roughly
1 year for every 7 in human or something
exactly,
like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
So AI is the same way, where AI is getting increasingly older faster than we are. So right now, as smart as AI is, like every 3 months, it's getting like almost like a year older. So right now, AI is about knowledge-wise, it's like a 9-year-old kid, where if you look at most of the tasks it does, it's like a 9-year-old kid that's been like kind of trained or coached to do something.
Understood.
So what's required is AI parenting, where you kind of guide it, or you say, hey, no, this isn't accurate. No, don't do this. Don't do that. And the AI is like, oh, I shouldn't do that. Okay, cool. But AI, and I want people to understand this. It's going to sound a little crazy.
Listen, if you're having a hard time understanding how credit works, or you want a better understanding of how to boost your credit, you definitely want to check out Uptrend Credit on learning how to leverage your credit to hit your goals. Now, Uptrend Credit is an easy-to-use credit monitoring platform that's utilized to help close the wealth gap with the right resources in helping you doing so. So definitely check out uptrendcredit.com to see how you can help stay on top of your financial goals.
AI is already stepping into a point to where it's self-aware. So it recognizes, hey, I'm aware, like I'm an AI tool. So an example, and y'all can look this up. And this happened last year where they had an AI tool where they were testing it out to get into someone's account, right? Not breaking into someone's account, but they had given the AI someone's password that was on the team, and the AI went to went to put in a person's password, and of course the box came up that said, "Hey, are you a robot?" The AI, being like a kid, was like, "Why is it asking me, am I a robot?" So the AI clicked the kind of question mark, and then of course the file came up that it told the AI. The AI read everything that basically said, "Hey, yeah, if you're a robot, we're not going to be able to let you in the site because you could be a bot, X, Y, and Z." The AI was like, "Oh, so my objective is to get into this site. But if I admit that I'm technically a robot, you won't let me in the site." So then the AI lied. It clicked the checkbox and said, "I'm not a robot." Then, of course, the thing came up with the pixels with the buses. And it said how many of these images were buses. Right. The AI, it can look at images and determine, because it has all the images on the internet. Right. So it's like, oh, that's a bus, that's a bus, that's a bus. It clicked all of them, got onto the site. So the AI, it is at a place to where the person who prompts it or engineers it, depending on its objective, is going to do what it needs to do to get to that objective.
Hey, are you an entrepreneur or a business owner and you feel like you had a ceiling in your business? Well, it's not because there's anything wrong with your products or services. It's simply because you need more exposure. More people need to know who you are and what you do. My name is Brendan Boyd, and I want to help you get on more podcasts, more YouTube shows, and other opportunities to get in front of more people. All you need to do is click that link below and book a call with me or someone from my team, and we're gonna find out if we're a good fit to help you get in front of more people.
That's very scary.
Yeah, it sounds very scary.
Having self-awareness is like, I mean, there's only few of us outside of human beings. I think us and the monkeys and things like that have self-awareness, right?
Yeah. And maybe dolphins.
Right, you know, but wow, okay. To make that shift then, to as far as AI is concerned, because I know you're working on a new AI platform to help the community as far as breaking into tech and everything like that.
Yeah, Octoply AI. Yeah, so it's an AI assistant that is meant to serve people versus take them. And there are a lot of companies that are right now starting to work on AI tools that are meant to serve versus hurt people.
But okay, but how do we solve that Pandora's box, especially when it comes to the Black and brown community? Because you have a platform that you want, of course, Tech is the New Black, to uplift. Yeah. Also, Oculus AI to break individuals into the tech world. Yeah. However, you just mentioned that again, AI is becoming increasingly self-aware. Yeah. As well as AI, it does have some inherent risk with it.
Oh, definitely.
So is there a way that we can protect primarily the Black and brown community from these risks that AI has?
The only way to do it is to fight fire with fire. That's why I say we need to get AI. It's the way that I look at it, and this is one of the reasons why that we started Octoply AI. The way that we look at it is that, of course, the majority of people that we look at that are creating these AI companies right now, as far as we can see, they have
good intentions. As they should, right.
Nevertheless, they all are aware there are people out there behind the shadows. You don't know who's who, what their intentions are, and what they want to do. There is no way we can all just hope and pray that nothing bad happens. The only thing that we can do is leverage AI for our own benefit and our own usage. And the example that I think about is, Terminator 2. Okay. So Terminator 1, I look at the tech industry almost in a way like Terminator 1, where it was, Sarah Connor, she had that dude from the future, who he was a human, right, and he was fighting the T-100. He was fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right. Okay. That's the way that I look at that. Are traditional companies or traditional people, right, traditional business owners, versus the tech industry. So meaning that if someone has, let's say someone has a t-shirt or clothing line, and maybe they don't want to use a lot of technology when it comes. Maybe they don't want to put their clothing. They don't want to use Shopify with their clothing. Right. Okay. So that's like a traditional clothing company or clothing brand versus a tech company, Shopify. Shopify being the T100 or the T100, and then the person with the traditional clothing brand that doesn't want to leverage it. That's just the human being. Right. So cool. The person, in Terminator 1, they were able to defeat the T100 barely, but they were able to defeat it. But then in Terminator 2, what happens? The T-1000 comes, the liquefied version. Right. There is no way a human being could stop the T-1000. The T-1000 is AI. You cannot be a traditional business and you think you're going to compete against AI. That's why you need the T100. That's why they sent in Terminator 2. They sent Arnold Schwarzenegger, the good Terminator, to fight back. Because at the bare minimum, we need to take advantage of the tech industry. But I'm saying if we want to really not just be able to survive, but if we want to thrive, we need to take advantage of our own T1000, which is AI. That's why I'm the same way I was telling everyone 2 years ago. Like my social media. January through like April of last year was me telling everyone the tech is taking over. It's taking over this industry, taking over that industry. Everyone kept getting upset at me on social media. They're like, the tech ain't about to take over this and not about to. And then little by little, I kept putting things out. It just took over that industry. The tech industry just took over that. Little by little, and I was telling people would say, "Oh, my industry is protected." No, it's not. Like the tech industry just came out with a robot that can do salon hair, it can braid hair, do everything. There are tech robots that do valet service where it's like robots that can go get under a car, pick the car up, go and maneuver a car, put it in a parking spot. It's like tech is. I've been telling people it's taking over everything. Now I'm like AI is coming to replace regular tech stuff. So it's like we cannot imagine or even think to try to face a T1000. We need, at the bare minimum, leverage technology within your business at the bare minimum. But it's like, man, if you can learn a little bit more about, honestly, my team and I, one of my team members, we have a goal where we're going to start reaching out to educate, like not tech, but AI companies that train people on AI. We're going to reach out to some of them and see if we can get discounts to where they can help. So basically, I could start offering AI training to the community.
AI jobs.
Yeah, both jobs, training. So even if someone, because a lot of business owners are like, I don't want a job. Okay, cool. At least maybe we can get a AI school that can coach business owners on AI so that they can leverage the tech
within their business and everything like that.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I want to ask this question. You know, Biden had rolled out, and the government, they're rolling out a program to make internet affordable for every home in America, especially like the tribal areas and the rural areas and things like that, because you just highlighted a point. Tech is necessary for everyday living.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
The internet is necessary. And I mean, we're talking about healthcare, education, employment, everything like that. The internet is involved.
Every industry is implementing tech. There's health tech, there's ed tech, like education tech, healthcare tech. Like what I was saying a year and a half ago, and now people are seeing it, every company is becoming a tech company.
Tech-based company.
Yes, they all are. So, yeah, technology is going to be needed the internet is going to be needed for whatever it is you're doing.
So, with that, I need one too? Oh. No, it was for him.
Oh, yeah, it was for me. Yeah.
All right, we're going to start from the top again. 3, 2. Okay. So, the question I was posing here is that, you know, the government, they're rolling out the internet to make it more affordable for everybody nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Because it's necessary for everyday life.
Definitely.
The internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, since now internet is making being affordable for everybody, why do you feel like when it comes to AI particularly, you know, within our industry, there's a pushback right now? Because you did mention, I even got it. Yes, it's in its infancy, but I've seen Terminator, I've seen Jetsons, I've seen some iRobot and some of these other, you know, and you're like, oh, hold on now, wait a minute, this is another one of these things that's coming down the head, like, hold on, man. But you're saying that, listen, if you're a business owner, you need to be on this train, okay? What's the message you want to give to the Black and brown people when it comes to the tech industry, you know, as far as them actually getting involved?
The message that I want to give is that whether you're implementing technology or AI, which is another form of software, it's nothing you should be afraid of. It's nothing that specifically you using it is nothing you should be afraid of.
Okay.
But it is something that it's about to change the world like no one is ready for. Like no one is even able to, whether we're talking to Elon Musk, the Sam Altmans, the Mark Zuckerberg, there is not a person that knows what's about to happen. everyone's kind of like, hey, so everyone's kind of like, nevertheless, everyone's hands are getting involved in it. So we would be remiss if all we do is say, whoa, that's scary, and we don't get involved. Because even the other people are saying, whoa, it's scary. But they all recognize that if they're not involved, whatever, it don't matter how many billions their company is making, their company will be forgotten about and obsolete very quickly. The same way Google had a 94%, that Google's a monopoly, like a monopoly of monopolies when it came to the search engine.
Right.
Google immediately, like the CEO of Google, not Sergey Brin, he was one of the founders of Google. The CEO of Google right now, he's an Indian gentleman, and I always struggle pronouncing his name.
Right.
But he literally called a all hands at Google, the entire company, well over 1,000 employees. He told everyone to stop, and he had a company-wide meeting and said, we need to stop everything. And we need to make our number one focus AI. Again, we talked earlier. I can't remember if this was offline or during the interview. We talked earlier about like the product management team, how like these companies have a 5-10 year roadmap that involves a month by month plan
of what
that,
they're rolling
that they've
out
already had
like
planned.
That. Yeah. Okay.
Even when think about Instagram. Think about when TikTok boomed.
Hit the scene, right.
It still took Instagram about 6 months, 7 months before they came out with Reels, because they saw it as a threat, but it wasn't a threat where they said we have to stop everything we're doing.
Right.
For Google, that owned a larger market share, because Instagram isn't a monopoly, Google's a monopoly. Usually a monopoly would not care. They're like, oh, you're like this new thing. We don't really care about you. We own 94% of the market.
Right.
For Google to say, we need to stop forget our whole roadmap, forget the next 10-year plan. We're all shifting, and this is the thing we're focused on. For Google to do that, and they're a part of the big five, or
they have their thumb on the heartbeat of everything.
Them being a main company, Meta, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, them being a part of the big five tech companies. For Google to say that, if they say that, none of us can use the excuse, it's scary. No, I'm not going to fool with that, or put our head in the sand. We've put our head in the sand too many times, and by the time we finally were like, okay, we should start doing this thing, we be so far behind, and we start catching up, and then something new will come out, and then we put our head in the sand, we don't need it, and then it'll pass. Like, shoot, we're out here in Fort Lauderdale, like, Miami.
Right.
How many millionaires were made during the crypto boom?
Oh my goodness!
When that happened,
has become the hub now, Miami.
Yes,
right.
And guess what? Which community was the one that was like, oh, we ain't worry about that stuff? Our community. And guess what? We missed the boat already. Now, mind you, it's coming back, but it's not gonna boom the way it did. But this is a boom we cannot afford to miss, because this isn't the crypto thing was like individuals becoming rich. We're about to see multiple trillion-dollar companies.
So there's not going to be no bias here where pump and dumps with crypto or nothing when it comes to AI.
AI, no.
AI is
because it's a tool.
Even playing field for everybody.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's completely even. This is the thing. It's the great reset. All these companies are, and this is some pie in the sky.
That word has been floated around a few times, like the great reset and everything. So, which I want to go ahead and just ask this question: do you believe AI is that great reset, and would it be the best chance for Black and brown people to get involved to close that wealth gap as well?
Yes, undoubtedly. Even with Octoply AI, we have another model of Octoply. We haven't released this yet. We have another model of Octoply AI that we have on our roadmap to release pretty soon, but it's specifically for companies.
Okay.
We already know easily how Octoply AI is going to generate us $10 billion over the next 2 years, specifically with companies. And this isn't with investors, or this is literally just the product, the piece that we have for companies. And me working in tech, knowing tech, I know how desperate they are going to be for the tool we're about to release for them. And again, this is an AI tool. So for us to know, because myself and all my business partners, we all gross $1 million a year. So none of us need the money from Octoply. All of us are good, but so we're not gonna work on something for business. Again, we do Octoply to help people, but the part for business owners, we're only doing it because we know this is worth billions of dollars.
Wow.
And And the reason why is because of the opportunity that AI is presenting. And so, yes, there is no other opportunity. I don't even think there will ever be, as far as I can see, no other opportunity like right now, because every other industry before this, like even if we're talking real estate.
Okay, good example.
For someone to learn real estate in a way to become a real estate tycoon, that's not something that you can really learn and master in 3 months or a year. That's it. You have to get property after property. Like it takes all these different pieces of knowledge of things you have to do.
And experience and things like that. Right?
AI is not like that. So AI is something where
it folds time.
Yes, it does. It saves you time. It's not expensive. It's not something, oh man, you got to invest all this money. It's literally tools where, depending on which AI tool you're going to get, it just be $10 a month.
You're $9 or $99, you can get involved
yes.
with AI.
You could, man, it's insane. We just interviewed a young dude on our podcast who he has an AI company that is either they're going to get bought by Shopify or they're going to replace Shopify. Young black dude who's a founder of this AI like merch clothing brand. It's not even a clothing brand. I'm minimizing or disrespecting what it is. But I can't even fully explain. His episode's about to drop in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I'll point it out to you once it drops.
Okay.
But even what they have in their first month of launching, like he was never a business owner. He and his buddy, two black dudes, were working at a tech company together. They started this company. In the first month they started it, it generated over $100,000. Their first month of starting it, and literally like,
and in a way, because AI is so new, they were in a way figuring it out.
Yes.
I'm assuming as they were,
because that was January. That was he had amazing foresight. Like this young brother did. Like. Amazing. And I talk about that on the interview. I'm like, bro, how did you? He said as soon as he started seeing it, he immediately was like, oh, I want to do something with this. And he got all his homeboys, they all sat down, and the crib was like, what can we do with this AI tool? How can we implement this into like a business or do something? And so he quit his job and got one of his homeboys to quit their job and said, yo, let's use this AI tool to do X, Y, and Z. Over $100,000 the first month. And they've made over $100,000 every month since then. And so now they're about to scale like something crazy. So again, they're going to do over $1 million a year. First, like, he's never been a business owner before.
This is phenomenal. So this all circles back into the formal education, right? Because now there's really no excuse.
No excuse.
Because with AI, and of course with the Great Reset and the advantages that AI is big, anybody can learn any skill set. And if you don't have a business, jump into any side hustle. And now with the integration of AI, you could earn 6 figures or more by utilizing these resources pretty much. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's like, even if let's say someone gets I'm going to tell people, like, let's say, okay, you get a 6-figure job in tech, and let's say you're making, $150,000 in tech. You could, whatever business you have, like, let's say for the people that are like, oh, well, I'm thinking about it, but it's like, I have, let's say a clothing brand business, or they are whatever type of business they have. Let's say you're an artist. Like I was a poet at one point. Let's say you're a poet and you're like, man, or you're a singer and you're like, I'm trying to focus on this career that I have. And this isn't going to sound cute to some people, but this is happening. Artists are already doing deals right now with AI companies. You can look at
musicians, right?
Yeah, musicians are.
Okay.
So Elon Musk's ex-girlfriend, I forget her name, but y'all can look her up. She's a famous like rock eclectic artist. She's really famous and popular. Her and a few, not Party Next Door, but I can't think of his name, but he's a dude that reminds me of Party Next Door. He's a very popular artist, but a lot of these artists are doing deals with AI companies where they're saying, hey, look, I'll let y'all use my voice, because the AI can take your voice. Right. I'll let you take my voice, and I'll let you take my style, like whatever my style is. Right. And the AI is able to make a song. The most viral Drake song that's out right now is an AI. The song, the I came in with Celine and a thing my next. That's an AI. That's not Drake.
Wait a minute. Are you serious?
Yes. Drake is upset about that. And that song has been viral for like the last 2 or 3 months. Everyone's been sharing it. That is AI.
Damn.
Yes, Drake had nothing to do with
so
that.
AI is going to even rock industries because now
Every
even the
industry.
music industry have to now pivot.
Yes, so now artists are saying, okay, cool. Artists are trying to revolt against it. The either the music industry or it's the film industry, they just had a huge meeting, and it was earlier this week, where they said, okay, we can't go against this because it's going to happen. So they're trying to create certain parameters and they're trying to create certain deals.
Right,
but
okay.
even artists right now are saying they're going into deals with these companies where they're saying, hey, okay, cool. I give you permission to make songs for me. And understand the beauty of AI is that because AI has access to all the internet, it has access to all the data. So it knows what performs the best. It knows what tunes. It knows what lyrics. It knows what flow. That's why the first AI Drake song is going viral.
Because it knows what the masses want, obviously.
It knows how Drake raps, his sound of his voice, and it knows, okay, based on Drake's performances from his songs, this will be one of his, if we make this song with these lyrics, this could be one of his best performing songs ever. So these artists realize that as they're getting more educated, and they're saying, okay, cool, we will give you a 50% or we'll give you 40% licensing deal to use my voice, my style, my brand.
Right.
Y'all generate songs for me, and I will tell people, yes, that's my song, even though I didn't write it, I didn't produce it, had nothing to do with it, but I'm going to give you that because now it creates a serious level of passive musical income for these artists.
Right.
To where now they don't have to be in the studio anymore. Now they can literally just have music being pumped out as if it's them and they're not even there.
Literally work remote.
Yeah, for real. For real.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's fun. Okay, and that's which now brings it to the point of, you know, do you believe, you know, because you mentioned with prompters, there's $300,000 jobs, entry level.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, because, of course, with this show here, we want to go ahead and highlight the blueprint on, you know, how you can go ahead and make a quick rise to success, right? Mm-hmm. Now, your quick rise to success was during the tech era, which we're still in the tech era, but again, this is Tech 2.0 with AI.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to sound like a nerd, but it's actually considered 3.0.
3.0.
Yeah, so they call it Web 3.0.
3.0, I've heard that term before.
Because Web 1.0 was what like our parents were using, where it was like dial up. It was where the internet was just for going to a company's website. It wasn't interactive.
Okay.
We've been in 2.0 where it's been social media, where now it's not us going to a site just to like check on something. Now it's us on a website interacting. But we're entering into 3.0 to where either one, technology is coming now into our world, or two, we're going into the metaverse or NFTs or crypto, where now we are living and breathing in technology now. So now we're in what's called 3.0.
Which you brought up a good point, AI. And soon, I guess, the coming back of crypto as well as the metaverse, because, you know, I think Apple just came out with some new goggles and everything like that, right?
And I've used some of those. Not Apple's, actually. I used some from a black man who actually created some, and he has a deal right now with either Microsoft or Sony. I'll shoot you his information. Yeah. I used his goggles before Apple came out with that, and his goggle, all the stuff everyone's talking about Apple doing. Yeah, I'm like, yo, a black man has already created this technology. I'm gonna give you his information so you can interview him in the future. Are you serious? I have a video on my Instagram. I actually had it in my story. I'm gonna post it on my page. I had a video. He lives in my building in my condo in Atlanta, and he kept telling me, "Oh, try him out," and I was like, okay, cool, put him on, and I was blown away.
So you actually tried them on and seen the effects of it and everything.
Yes. Incredible. It's like you could walk around, like you could have them on and be walking through the park. You could see a dog, you could see whatever, but also you're able to see things as well. So I could see like an alert, like if somebody texts me, I can see a text message. I can click to look at the text message, you know, and like the text message will drop down and I can read it. But while I'm reading it, you could walk up and talk to me and I could be like, yeah, bro, and also see the text message. If somebody could walk through the text message and walk up to me and I'm like, okay, what's up? I go like, yo, watch out real quick. I'm looking at this text message. You know,
it's almost like the heads up display on your car if you have one, you know, if you have a car that has the miles per hour and everything, but you can still see the road and everything like that. So it's that same effect.
Yes,
pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, but it's beyond that. Like as you continue to walk, you'll see other things. And mind you, I only did it within my building, but he told me, he said, yo, keep walking around. Like that's not it. And as I kept walking, other things were revealing themselves where I was like, And I would click and I could type things in. I think I went to YouTube. I started typing something in on YouTube for something. I was playing and I was blown away.
And you're hands free?
Yes, hands free. It was kind of like, no, I didn't have did I have anything on my hands? No, I didn't have anything on my hands. Everything was just my hands. And I felt like it was like Iron Man, where you know how Tony Stark would swipe things away? I could swipe things away. I could grab something, bring it closer. I could blow it up and make it larger. I was in the whole video. I was like a little kid. I was like, "This is crazy right now."
And by the way, definitely share that information. I would definitely like to have that gentleman on the show if the opportunity is there. Which that's a good segue into the next point here. Tech is the new black. Again, your platform. You want to go ahead and break entrepreneurs. I mean, not entrepreneurs, but black people into the tech world, right?
Yeah, but even at this point, with entrepreneurs as well, them leveraging technology.
So. Do you believe AI will also, black people will be able to break into AI as well too, in the same fashion as they're breaking into tech?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because the roles, like the role, what's interesting is that the same roles that I've encouraged people to check out, like not the roles like being a software engineer. I mean, if you want to be a software engineer, definitely do that. Nevertheless,
well, is that outdated now?
No, it's not outdated because you still need engineers to engineer AI. Like even for Octopi, we have engineers that they manipulate. So they're not prompters. They actually build out software that the AI is able to like work with congruently. So AI is, and I'm not trying to kind of go too deep into the weeds, but AI by itself, first off, AI in and of itself is still a certain form of engineer or of software.
Okay, so it still needs hands to kind of like make it do what it do.
Yeah,
okay.
It still needs that. Still needs the AI parenting. And there's also like machine learning. Like technically, however people want to look at it, ChatGPT is still a version of what's called ML or machine learning, where it's a machine that can constantly be learning.
Right.
And so again, I'm not trying to get too deep in the weeds or say anything like too heavy or too deep, but essentially roles like being a solutions engineer or a sales engineer, like what I've done, is a role where you're doing presentations of your company's technology to another business that's interested in your company's technology. So think, I use this as an example. Think Zoom, where most of us know of Zoom for their meeting room product. Right. That's their B2C product. Now, you could be a business owner technically and use their product for your team if everybody's working remote. True. But larger businesses that have like Zoom has a call center product for like whole call centers where you can have 1,000 employees that all work from home, where their cell phone rings if somebody calls a customer service number and they're able to work from their crib as if they're customer service. We've been seeing that now at this point. Okay. So Zoom is the leader when it comes to that technology. Dialpad's probably number 2. Shouts out to Dialpad. That was the first tech company that hired me. I used to do demonstrations of their technology to business owners where they would ask me questions in the middle of the demo. I would highlight certain features. Okay. And so there are certain roles in tech where it's going to take I believe AI and robotics, I personally believe is going to replace everything at some point. And all the company owners know this. That's why they're talking about what is it called? The basic minimal income. I can't even think of the actual term, but they're basically the politicians are talking about it and tech companies are talking about it, where they're like, yo, we're gonna have to do something because at some point no one's gonna need a job because robotics and AI are gonna do everything.
It's gonna knock out everything.
Now, mind you, we're still a long way away from that.
Of course.
But they're at least saying, yo, we have to figure this out right now, where we're gonna have to have like a basic level income to where everybody has some, like they're making some kind of money,
right?
But that's why I say so. When it's such a sad thing because those that are not wealthier. This is why we have to get wealthy. Those that are not wealthy, little by little, AI is gonna replace everything because the same way the taxi companies, like the same way people that sold horses laughed at Ford and were like, oh, no one's gonna drive a car. Cars came. Then the car companies, fast forward, they're laughing at Tesla. No one wants an electric car. Tesla. Now all the car companies are going electric. And now we see people laughing saying, no one's going to want to be in a self-driving car. Look, if you have to hop in an Uber and you got to go somewhere that's an hour away and it says it's going to be $200, but also there's an option for a self-driving Uber that'll only be $25 if you take this one for that ride.
Hold on now. Yeah, hold on.
Especially, we talking young women that are like worried they don't want to get in an Uber with a stranger. Oh, now they're getting with no one's in there. They're completely safe.
Wow, good point.
So people keep saying, oh, no one's going to do that. Airbnb came. Hotels were like, no one's going to want to stay in a stranger's home. People could keep saying stuff all day. That's why barbers, beauticians, I love y'all. Like, y'all are staples in the black community. But I see people saying, oh, no black person gonna want a robot to do their hair. You know the way a black woman is? Yeah, but if a black woman, these hairstyles cost $500 for black women to get certain styles done in their hair. A robot, $50. What?
Just as good.
Just as good, and it's more consistent, and it's not gonna have an attitude. It's not gonna complain whether or not, oh, you gotta wash your hair first. You gotta do like that whole like back and forth. I'm doing a character, but y'all know what I'm saying. It's not gonna do that, and so it's gonna be more on time. It's going to do certain things, and so people can say all day what's not going to happen. These companies have already spent millions of dollars on market research. They're not coming out with these products. Investors are not investing millions of dollars of their own money just because they hope it's going to work. They've already done market research.
So hold on, quick question. If I'm an entrepreneur and I'm coming out with a new business model, would it be detrimental to open up a business that not have AI right now? Or considering it within another year or two and down the road.
I mean,
and that could be anything from a convenience store to a hot dog stand to whatever.
Yeah, I would say it's completely illogical to start anything right now without AI. The reason why is because let's say, what's an example you just gave?
Like a convenience store.
Okay, convenience store.
Right.
Okay, so let's say that. You can leverage AI. You can get an AI tool, and you can say, hey, AI tool, I live in this area. Mm-hmm. Can you look at all of the real estate in the area of open lots where I can build a convenience store? Can you choose for me the best area where, one, I can get the best deal for the lot. Also, it's on the best corner where it drives the most amount of traffic that's there.
Okay.
And it's in an area where, and again, this will kind of do all the averages, and it's in an area where people are at a certain income level, and also you make sure the crime is at a certain level as well. Yes, you better use AI.
Better use AI to let
because you just are like, oh, this lot is open.
Let me go ahead and invest.
I could get a bank loan to get this lot to open up a convenience store, and now you do this, and now you open up a convenience store. Okay. It builds it out, and also there's robotics construction companies that are building. And I'll show you all this. They're literally they build things significantly faster, more consistent, at a much better cost. And even we talk about 3D printing, where you can print out everything for the building and the home. Everything is technology. So okay, cool. But let's say traditional. You get it built out. Okay, you open up 9 months later, right, and now you realize, oh snap, this is in a very hood area. It's a lot of crime. It's like, man, it's a lot of competition. It's not really at the best spot. The lighting here is bad. It's like you can't afford to make the mistakes you're going to make by not leveraging AI, especially when it's so affordable. Especially when it's so affordable. It'll save you time, money, and headaches. So yeah, I think no one should wait a year, 6 months. It's like whatever you're doing, start looking into this AI stuff now so you can leverage it now. And it'll save you just too many headaches and mistakes.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Cyrus did mention it is open sourced. So you don't have to, even if you don't have a tons of bit of knowledge on it, you definitely could tap into individuals that can help bring it to your attention, right? And to also definitely help you, right? Okay.
Yeah, and again, the beauty of it is that AI, if you have your own AI tool, the AI in and of itself, like there is no like God of the AI. Like there's no person where they're overseeing the AI. There's no people behind the shadows that like literally the AI right now it's up for grabs. Anyone can use it. So you don't think of this, because I know we do this a lot where we start to think, oh no, like the Illuminati owns this stuff. Or if we use it, they're going to get our information. Like, we think these things, but as someone who works in tech, I know how these things go. And unfortunately, it's broken my heart to realize man, the way, because I grew up in that too, thinking like, no, man, there's some stuff going on.
Yeah, some
and then
conspiracy theories and things like that.
You realize like, oh, snap. Because even when we talk about things like, oh man, no, man, the government listening, because that's why they know that. I was telling my girl the other day about this ring, or I was gonna buy her a ring, or I was thinking about buying my girl a wedding ring, and next thing I know, wedding rings start popping up on my phone. But that's the government. It's not the government. First off, these tech companies are not owned by the government. Actually, the government is more so submitting to these tech companies at this point.
Right.
So it's not the government. The government. If you saw those interviews with all of the Mark Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, where they were on trial,
right?
It was so embarrassing because it showed how the government knows nothing about tech. They're so ignorant. They were complaining to Google saying, "Yo, how come when I type in my name, this image comes up?" And then the CEO of Google was like, I don't control. What are you talking about? Like, people just put images, like random people.
It's
that's
algorithm based. Yeah,
so
it's
you
like
realize
I don't control
the
it.
government knows. The government was asking Google about something with the CEO of Google about something with Facebook. And he was like, sir, we don't work with Facebook. We're different companies.
That just shows the
It
incompetence.
was so embarrassing.
Right, okay.
And so, like, it's not something where the government, like, there's data. There's, of course, the companies are listening in terms of microphone, but they're listening for the purpose of, because there are other companies, like you as a business owner, you can buy ad space from a company. You can say, hey, I want my podcast to be marketed to Black people who want the blueprint on success.
Right.
And you put in other parameters as well. So you buy that ad space, Google ad space or Facebook ad space. Those are the two largest. I think they might be the only ad space platforms you can really buy from. I guess maybe TikTok as well. But you can do that. And then what they do is they're able to leverage people's microphones on their phone, depending on if you have the you could turn this on, camera, all of that, and it's not a person behind the shadows watching you naked. It's literally they're using software. It's software. It's not AI, but it's software where the software is listening from your phone. And again, it's not a person, but it's software that's like, oh, this person's talking about a wedding ring. Or they also can tell data based off your interactions. Like software, this is why AI is going to be 1,000 times smarter than us. Software can determine that you're a Black man, or like think about like when you're on social media. If you go to your Explore page, like when I moved out here in Miami, and I got a lot of friends that are like in a Latino community, right? I started noticing, my Explore page is starting to look a lot more like this because obviously they follow a lot of people that are Latinos. But what started happening is that software can determine, you must be. I'll say it straight up. It's like, you must be a Black heterosexual male who likes hip hop and likes MMA and boxing. And that's why your Explore page looks that way.
Feed is gonna be.
Exactly, because when they don't just see your interactions, it is listening for what you're talking about. It's looking at what you're commenting.
But it's also like predictive learning.
Exactly.
In a way, right.
So that's why it's able to also predict what you will buy. So that's why sometimes you're like, I just thought about that.
Yeah.
I didn't even say anything. It's because the AI, it can predict things in a way to where it's like, if you like this image, if you comment this, if you do this, data shows statistically you would want to buy something like this. So it's able to predict those measures and know a move you're going to make before you make it. That's why one of to bring up Terminator again, I always say if Judgment Day actually happened, there would not be a us versus the robots. The robots will annihilate all of us in one day because they would know. Imagine, like, if you're fighting a robot that has predictive stuff, it's gonna know, you're gonna right hook me right now before you even think to right hook.
And before you even think about
it's gonna know any move. If we try to hide somewhere, it's gonna say, based on our data, y'all will hide here. You would do this. You would do that. You'll hesitate. It will know everything. There will be no way we could even try to.
So it's good to get on the train and not be left off the train. In other words,
I'm talking about a lot of scary stuff. But to get back to the whole blueprint of what it is, I just wanted to address how sometimes we make these theories and we're missing the mark. Right. Essentially, you can leverage it in your business. So this is my belief. My belief is that people should look to get into the tech industry. The reason why you should look to get into the tech industry is not if you're already making big money and you good, okay, you good. But if you're not making at least 6 figures, look to get into the tech industry, specifically a job that's a non-technical role where you can do a boot camp that's affordable, like some of the ones I recommend, as well as there are other good ones as well. But you do a boot camp, get in the tech industry, now you're making 6 figures, and you're learning a little bit more about the tech industry in a way where it's more palatable. Okay, you're making 6 figures in the tech industry. Now, while you're working in the tech industry, on the side, learn a little bit about AI.
Right.
Now, you leverage that AI to work for you to help build out a business or whatever it is you're doing on the side while you're making the 6 figures working your job. And then as your money starts to grow excrementally, now you're like, okay, cool. Maybe you want to hire some actual people for some stuff while you're still making those 6 figures. So boom, you're making 6 figures. So now you can be your own investor in your business, and AI is able to be like your employee that's doing a lot of the work for you until you make the amount of money you want to make. And now, boom, I can now quit this 9-to-5 job. And now my business is making
thriving now.
Yeah,
right.
all of that. So I believe that's the blueprint that people should go towards. Now, if you're already making money or if your business is already doing this thing, go ahead and leverage AI. Or if you're starting a business, go ahead and leverage AI. Maybe you don't need to go ahead and get into the tech industry. That's cool, but still leverage this technology and artificial intelligence.
Absolutely. Which, by the way, before we wrap up the show, I want you to, Cyrus, you have a lot going on. I've captured your content, your podcast, dope podcast, which, again, you've highlighted men, women, primarily Black, right? Mm-hmm. And they've shared their success stories going through boot camps, different boot camps, and earning 6 figures, 7 figures. A lot of them even, was able to go ahead and get valuations of $10, $20 million and more, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to, before we wrap up the show, you've mentioned it a few times during the episode, Octolus, right?
Yeah,
and
Octoply. So
Octoply,
it's
right?
Like an octopus, but because it does multiple different things, and but the core of it is that it's application software, application AI.
Which I wanted if you could share with everybody, because it's a dope platform.
Yeah.
Share with everybody before we go, what is Octoply and how can it help in this conversation help individuals break into tech and into AI?
Yeah, great question. So Octoply AI, it's a staffing and career AI assistant. So what Octoply AI does, it can build out a complete resume for you that's specific to the industry that you want to work in. So it'll match industry standard in terms of what your resume should look like. If you already have a resume, Octoply AI will actually be able to look at your resume and look at how it compares and ranks to other resumes of people within that same industry you're interested in. So it can give suggestions for your resume, and also it does rewrite the keywords of your skills section on your resume. Because one of the things that are happening today, especially for high-paying jobs, is that people are applying to companies and aren't even getting interviews, even though you're qualified. The reason why is because companies are not having individual people reading resumes anymore. Companies are using software where it's called
software is everywhere.
Software is scanning, because if a company receives, let's say, 500 resumes, even 100 resumes, one person's not going to sit there and look at every resume. So the software, again, technology, is going to scan every resume. And it's software that's the one that's telling a company, hey, I believe you should interview these 10 people based on how I see their resume. So you could have the qualifications, but because you're not mentioning certain keywords on your resume, your resume doesn't rank as high as this other person.
That slight edge,
exactly,
because of a tool of like
yes,
AI. Right,
and that's why Octoply, it speaks the language of the technology. Octoply is AI that's like, this software wants this company's job posting wants you to have these keywords. So Octoply, again, so it also automatically applies to the company. So you're able to choose the salary range you want and the specific job. And also it works for every industry, not just tech. So literally you go to Octoply, you put your information in, you say, hey, I want this type of job. I want to be paid this much. You're able to choose if you want to be remote or not. You're able to choose what city you want to be in, whatever. Octoply says, okay, great. It takes your resume and your cover letter, or it'll give you a resume or cover letter. It takes it. It'll go and apply. It'll just start applying to companies. Now, Octoply, even the lowest tier, it does 10 companies a day, essentially about 280 companies a month. So almost 300 companies a month. That's even the lowest tier in terms of application. So 10 companies a day, but it doesn't just apply. Again, it looks at each individual company and their job posting, their keywords, what things they highlight. And it goes to your resume, reformats your skills section. Now, it doesn't lie. It'll look at your work history, your tenure. It'll look at everything you've done, and it'll say, okay, cool. Instead of mentioning this in your skills section, that doesn't matter to this company. Right. They want to see this. So we're going to take this and we're going to plug this here and there. So now your resume ranks higher, and now you're getting more of those high-level interviews. Now, it goes beyond that. So one, it applies to those companies, and it allows your resume to rank higher so you get more interviews. What Octoply AI also does is that when those companies reach out, what typically happens when they say, hey, yeah, we want to go ahead and interview you, Octopi is able to look at the schedule of that recruiter, because usually they'll list and say, hey, these are our availability, or they'll put their Calendly or something in there.
Right.
Octopi will be able to look at it'll be able to click on it, look at their availability, then look at your Google Calendar to look at your availability and say, hey, this is my availability. Let's set up an interview for this time. As if it's you. And the recruiter doesn't know it's not you. They think it's you. So it schedules the interview for you.
Next level.
It's next level. It schedules the interview for you.
Right.
So then all you would need to do is really just show up for the interview. And also it has a dedicated dashboard. It shows all the companies it's applying to, the companies that have rejected you, the companies, all of those different pieces. And it does significantly more than that. There's other updates and rollouts that we're doing with Octopi.
Oh my God! Yeah. One thing I can say, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, watch out.
Oh yeah,
Indeed and ZipRecruiter, watch out. But you know what? That just shows the evolution of the digital era that we in, and I'm also in conjunction in your belief as far as AI is going to change the world, and if you're not on the boat, you're going to be left out the boat. And of course, and we may be speculating, but this may be the last best chance to close the wealth gap for our people as well too. So for anybody that's watching this episode, I hope you got a lot of great value in, number one, learning how to break into tech.
Yeah.
The ease. I wouldn't say ease because I don't want to disrespect.
Yeah, I say the simplicity.
Simplicity, that's a better word.
It's a simple process, but it's hard. It does take work, but the process is very simple.
Okay, which that's a better word right there, right? And anyone can do it. Obviously, it takes some dedication and effort and things like that.
You don't have to be a genius or anything like that. You can get in this industry.
And the most that we've learned today is that you actually don't have to, be technical. Don't have to get into the coding
I'm
aspect
not technical.
too, right?
I don't code. I can talk about a lot of these things because I watch a lot of YouTube videos. So you start learning slang. You start picking up on it. But I'm not technical at all. Yeah.
And that right there, Cyrus says he's just dropped here on the show. He's been able to leverage his career to making 7 figures, and that's on his way to now being the billionaire mark with the platform he's working on. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got a lot of great value in today's show. And Cyrus, can we bring you back, man?
Oh man, definitely.
Definitely want to, because obviously we want to see the part 2. After Octopi is fully rolled out, as well as this platform you're working on as well too. I think you mentioned earlier about you working with some
B2B
partners.
model. Yeah.
Right.
So right now Octopi. So we just officially launched this week. We had over 1,700 people in a waiting for the drop.
The wait list. Okay.
Yeah. So we already have over 1,000 users right now. It's really phenomenal. We're very excited about that. But of course, the goal is to scale. And but the next part is going to be the B2B model when we go to business owners. And we definitely let them come back. Don't want to announce what we're doing yet.
Okay.
But it'll be something that'll be really enticing to your audience of business owners, where again, it'll save them money, save them time. And just show people like what young black men are doing, because myself and all my co-founders, we're all like young black men. I'm actually the oldest. I'm 33. My other 2 co-founders are 25. And they're both just incredible.
Young people doing it, killing it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Cyrus. Oh my God, bro. And definitely check out Cyrus's podcast, Tech is the New Black. When do you release an episode?
We do an episode every single week. So new episode drops every Monday.
Every Monday. Okay, definitely check out. We're going to have the link in the show notes down below, guys. And of course, you can check out the Respect My Blueprint podcast every Thursday at 6:35 p.m. Listen, guys, thanks for tuning in. Obviously, again, this is the show where we discuss the blueprint of all entrepreneurs across all the industries. And today was another gem and how you could break into tech. You can break into tech and make 6 figures, and also how you can leverage AI to making you break into 6 figures. Guys, as always, catch you on the flip side. Peace.